what is your favorite moment in the Phantom Menace? And so I feel like everyone has the same favorite scene, Duel of the Fates.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm taking off the board. I do not want that to be an option for us to pick. So now I'm going to clear the stage. I'm fascinated to find out what you chose because I've looked through that movie. There are not Mandalorians in the Phantom Menace. So I look forward to seeing what you pick.
That makes me really sad, David.
I'm not trying to say I'm just
that's
very
like
interested.
A personal jab.
It's not a jab. It's a recurring theme of the show.
You know, I don't know.
Your favorite moment in the Phantom Menace.
I hope I'm not alone in this scene.
Okay.
But it's mostly, as you mentioned, everybody's like Duel of Fates. Great scene, great moment. Not my favorite. A lot of people go to pod racing after that. The pod racing was cool. Again, not my favorite moment.
Okay.
My favorite moment is when Darth Maul leaps off his speeder bike to attack Qui-Gon Jinn while they're traveling back to the ship to get off of Tatooine.
Okay.
So we get a fight. We get a lightsaber fight.
Yes.
But at the same time, though, it's just like it's an ambush. Qui-Gon wasn't expecting it. Now he's fighting this dark robed figure with a red lightsaber, and he's holding his own kind of. It's like, this is like an intense moment, and he escapes, and everything. And it's just like that moment. Just in particular, it's like when Maul is still in the air, and the lightsaber ignites. I just love it. It's like my favorite scene in that entire movie because it's
a loophole.
Scary.
You found a loophole in the way that I asked this question because you still found a way to incorporate lightsabers, and I just realized that I could have because I love that scene.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's
that story changes a lot. I think if they make the air and let Maul just like behead Anakin in that moment, that it doesn't quite sync up with the original trilogy that well. But I just remember the thrill of it and like the suspense and being 7 or 8 years old in the theater watching that scene play out and just like the adrenaline rush of him cruising up with that speeder. He's dueling Qui-Gon and Qui-Gon is getting outworked so quickly in that battle. Like he's overwhelmed and you're like, this is supposed to be a Jedi Master or Jedi Knight, one of the best of the time. And he's getting ousted by this like apprentice, the Sith apprentice. The Sith apprentice must be so strong. I think because of what you brought up, I really like when they're in the hangar and they're having to escape from Naboo. And so Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan are just destroying all these droids because I was so excited to see Jedi in their prime. We've always seen like old man Obi against old man Vader. We had a Luke with no training against a Vader. We had a Jedi Knight Luke, but he hadn't really been trained by a Jedi Master.
We needed that middle-aged Jedi.
It's not, we're getting Jedi in their prime.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't seen a Sith in 1,000 years. They are keepers of the peace, and that was really cool. However, I cannot say that is my favorite scene because that would just be very weak. I'm going with the pod race because I think the pod race, it captures the imagination of anyone who watches it.
Yeah.
Can you say that it's a little too long? You can make that argument, but again, going back, when I saw that movie for the first time, my first theatrical experience with Star Wars was 8 years old with my dad, seeing that pod race, that part where like the one pod racer flips over the other one. I mean, that's just insane. And like sitting there with my dad, his jaw was dropped. We walked out of that theater going, I've never seen movies do that except the last time I saw Star Wars in the theater. And he's talking about how like the Falcon was in the Death Star and it shoots out through the fireball. Like that scene always really stuck with him for some reason. I think that is so cool that George kept upping the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's so fun for me. I like the thrill. And also, I'm Anakin's age at that time. And like, here's this kid who has like a special ability, who's able to do these incredibly powerful things. He's a curious mind. He asks a lot of questions. He's kind of annoying. I think that's how my teachers would describe me in school. So like, there was just like a lot of like connections I made with him. And who doesn't want to be this young boy with all this potential? Like at that time, he is just innocent Anakin Skywalker.
This was, a lot of people complain about the CGI elements of the prequels. And yes, at times I think it was overdone. The pod race is one of the nicest moments at everything because when they're on Tatooine, they're talking about, oh, I hate it when Watto makes you do that. It's dangerous. And then like you get into the actual race and you can see why it's dangerous. I mean, these things are like, zipping around, speeder bike speed, if not faster. You're obviously playing against, the scum and villainy and everything, because I mean, Sebulba's sitting there flinging parts into people's engines and ramming people. And I mean, he sabotages Anakin's own pod racer even before the fights or the race starts. That's really cool and everything, I did enjoy it. Maybe, yes, a little bit long, but I think kind of an important scene to actually kind of show that, here's, a kid that with, strong, force sensitivity and everything.
Yeah, and like the Mos Espa's arena was really cool. All the crowd of all the different species. I just like I really do enjoy it. As I get older, yeah, the scene feels a little too long. Like it was George having a lot of fun with his CGI, but my goodness, it is fun.
My only real complaint, actually, about the pod racers, I did not like the sound of Anakin's pod racer, because I felt like it sounded
such a Jesse complaint.
I know, but I loved it as a kid, but as an adult, it reminds me too much of like basically like NASCAR kind of thing, where like I actually like find that Sebulba's pod racer has a very unique sound.
Yeah,
like
that's really bad impressions of both. But
I know, but I mean, it's just like,
thank you.
10 times cooler, sound than how Anakin's pod racer sounds and everything.
Is there anyone watching this race now because of this conversation? I hope so, because like I'm having like an urge to watch it. Honorable mention, and then we're gonna get out of here because we've hit the hour mark. Honorable mention: the swimming up scene to Otogunga, the Gungan village underwater. This movie gets bashed so much for CGI, but actually, you know what though? For the time, I think it still holds up, especially the scenery shots. And this was I've never seen anything like this before. It was so cool. This underwater village. You walked through this like plasma thing, and then there was like this oxygen. Like it was just visually, it was beautiful. Like I remember that was like the first time where I was like watching a movie going, that's beautiful.
Thank you for watching Beyond the Blast Doors. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. Don't forget, give us a thumbs up and leave a comment. Beyond the Blast Doors, a Star Wars conversation.